Good day, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel, Bonsai Works. I'm David. It's that time of year where it's autumn here in Melbourne, and anywhere from autumn to pretty much next spring, I guess, you can do this work on black pines. This is a Japanese black pine that needs autumn work. So remember, with my videos in the past, I always say black pines, you work on them twice a year, and this is one of those times. So you work on them in summer where you decandle the tree, and in autumn where you bud select back to 2 buds and needle pluck the tree. You can also do all your wiring now. So if the tree needs to be wired and restyled, this is the time to do it. So the way I attack this normally is I always give the tree a top-down review in terms of I top-down needle pluck and bud select back to 2 in all the places. So needle pluck old needles and bud select back to 2. Try and pick the 2 smaller buds if possible, if there's multiple buds. The 2 lateral buds are the best to choose from. Choose as well. So if you get 2 small lateral, they're the best ones. Try and eliminate anything really big if you can. But we need to go back to 2 in all these places. So that's what I'm going to do today on this Japanese black pine. It's been featured on my channel quite a bit. It's coming along really well. I really like it. Used to be a taller tree, so I've dimmed that off. There's lots of things changed in the future. It's a lovely grey Tokonoma pot. But you can see how healthy and strong all the needles are and the candles are. So now we go and bud select. I candle pruned the whole tree in summer. So I prune off all the candles, and this is what happens here by autumn. So let's go through the tree now and I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to work in the top first. Normally I cover the base of the tree, but because the foliage is all past the tree, when I needle pluck, all the needles are just going to fall onto the table, not onto the pot in the pot. So if you've got a taller tree, cover the soil with a towel. So let's have a look firstly in this area. So I'm hoping the camera will pick it up, but I will. So I'll look for the new bud. There's a new bud in there. There's a long bud in there. There's only 2, unfortunately, in that spot, so I have to keep 2. But I'll needle pluck the old needles in this spot. So you can use what do you call them? Oh, geez, I forgot the way they're called. Anyway, but I use my fingers, so that's why I probably forgot what it's called. So needle plucked, and you're left with, this was 2 in one spot and 1 on the other side. So there you go. So that's just needle plucking, 1-on-1, very basic. Needle pluck the old ones, leave 2 buds. Now, if there's sometimes too many needles on the one bud, you can also eliminate a few of those just to balance the growth. So try and balance the needles evenly for both buds. So you keep doing that, keep going through the tree. It's a bit hard to show you with the camera there, but we'll see how we go. So needle plucking also just helps expose the tree so you can see also what's going on. So it's important to really open it up. Then I can see how many buds we got. Have we got multiple in one spot? And start to eliminate anything like that. So again, we're okay in this. We've only got 2 in the one spot, which is good. Good news. 2, 2. That's what we want to try and achieve. So I didn't have to. Actually, no. This has got 3. So I'll try and show you this one. So in this case, I've got 2 small side lateral ones and 1 really long down one. So I'm going to cut the down one off. Okay, so I'm left with 2 lateral small ones. That's what I wanted. So now I'll check this one. This is the one that's got 2, unfortunately, just 2. And they're quite big. So maybe next year they'll get smaller and shorter. Needle plucking. So now, we just complete. I'll just complete this one so you guys can see the difference. This is a bit of an example of, I think this has got 3, no, it's only got 2 as well. So usually that's pretty good. If you get, where you make a cut and you only get 2, actually it's got 3. So it's got 2 side ones and 1 down one. In this case, I'm going to get rid of the down one. So get rid of the down one. So again, So in this case, I've just cleaned up this little branch here, needle plucked it, cut back to two buds, needle pluck a bit more. Now it's a bit more balanced and even, and we're looking good. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that throughout the whole tree. So in this case here, we got 1, 2, 3 again. 2 smaller ones and 1 big one going up the middle, so we take that big one off. Keep the 2 smaller ones. So I'm just going to try and show you this one hand when you come to try and make a decision. So I've got this one big one here, 2 small buds, and a fourth big one there. So in this case, I'll try and show you it again. 2 big ones, 2 small ones. Very obvious. You take off the 2 big ones, okay? Come in. If I get this right, I want to wreck the other 2. So the 2 big ones are gone, leaving the 2 small ones. Okay, very important. Okay, you don't want the big ones. You want to try and avoid the big ones as much as you can. So keep the small ones, needle pluck, obviously, the old buds, and there you go. To clean those up in a minute. I forgot, it's tweezers, if you use tweezers. So good old tweezers, you can use tweezers and get in there if you really want to. But I find I use my hands much easier, much quicker, and better result. Okay, after a complete needle pluck, and butt select back to 2 in every spot. You saw the close-ups hopefully how I butt select. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You know, you gotta really pick and choose. Sometimes you get a mixture of buds and you just gotta play around with it and figure out which one you want. But now I'm pretty much at the point where I've also removed wire that was cutting in. So now I'm at this point. Now the tree needs to be, you can see how it needs to be fully rewired pretty much, and restyled and repositioned. There's wire already on the tree, so that's good news. I can always tweak certain areas. But now it's back to the basics of styling. So I always start from the bottom, work my way up, and hopefully we'll be able to get a good result. So really it's just a matter of going back and looking at the branches. A lot of things have moved up, so if I've got wire on there, I'll see if the wire is holding. If it's not, then I have to replace the wire and add additional bits of wire. So it's pretty much just, so there's like extra growth there, I've got to rewire some of that. So now it's a wiring exercise. Now the important part with this tree is that it is in refinement stage. So when it's in refinement stage, you start applying, for me, a few different things. I now use, I'm using it anyway, but I use copper wire at this stage. You can pretty much hardly see the copper wire in this tree. You hardly see the wire. If I used aluminium, it's quite heavy, thicker, you'll be able to see it. The fineness of the copper enables you not to see the actual wire as much, which is great. Especially when you want to get a tree looking really good, maybe in a show in a couple of years' time in an exhibition. I think this tree is maybe a year or 2 away from an exhibition, hopefully. Nice sized tree, it's a smallish size, not huge, and it's a good tree. So that's one thing I really look at, is getting the wire really neat as well, and using copper only. So that's what I plan to do. I'm just going to work my way from this branch, the lower cascade branch, up, and see if I have to remove anything. So sometimes there's really long bits of growth. Maybe I can replace it with a smaller one closer in, things like that. I have to work out. Things could be removed and so on. So really now it's a very slow process of going through the whole tree and start to wire up and position. I'll show you the progress as I go, but it's more important to understand the actual steps that I took. You know, needle pluck, butt select, take the wire off. Now you can go in, rewire, reposition, things like that to get it looking perfect, and then it's ready for a nice overwintering, I guess. Just sit back on the benches and let it winter, and the candles will start to actually become very visible. So there's a candle now in here that's developing. That would then explode in summer, by summer. Over spring, we probably could be even that big. Then we cut that branch off, and then we'll get 2 small buds come out from this point. So the 2 small buds in autumn will be there. So we've got 1, 2, so that's how you develop the 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 each year. So that's the process. Okay, I'm going to start wiring and look at this tree looking good. So the first lower branch has been wired. Trying to create a level in here, in the lower level around the tree. Just I'll be tweaking it a little bit just to create that level. So just making sure you got different levels as you go. Try and clean underneath as much as possible. have everything kind of proportional, not too jutting out. But yeah, that's the first part of the tree. There's a little bit of long growth in the back, but I'm going to leave it for now and hopefully get it filling in. But other than that, pretty good first step. Now we'll just keep wiring and progress up the tree as we go. I'm continuing to build the tree. I had to do some fancy work with this branch. You can see how there's a nice clean line here, and it wraps around to over here. Now, with this part of the tree, it was actually too far forward. It was actually quite out. Now I've brought it back in. Still needs to be probably trimmed in the future. But I brought it back in using a guy wire in here to bring this branch more to the back. So once you get it more to the back, you shorten the width at the front. Okay, so by bringing it back in, now it's sitting perfectly and kind of in the hole that this branch created. So this branch has got a bit of a hole in here. So now this branch is sitting perfectly inside that hole, in that hole there. So that will build up over time and it should be looking good. Now I've made room for the apex to come down into this area. So I'm going to work on the apex part and see what we can build out. Probably a few layers, finishing off maybe, I think that might be the top, but we'll work out where it's all going to fit. But firstly, get these branches down into now this space. Now, as you can see, there's probably a bit too far wide again here. But again, we might be able to bend these backwards, sitting them in nicely in there, and should be able to finish off this tree looking quite good. All right, so I've actually completed all the work on this tree. Quite a bit of wiring and rewiring on this tree. Haven't done anything with the dead wood yet because I only do that if I'm going to display the tree, get that all cleaned up. But in this case, I have rewired pretty much everything, cleaned up, made sure I made new pads everywhere. I've also compacted the tree because it was actually having branches out here, pushed it back in and moved everything around. Now I'll show you. So the apex is nicely put in here and multiple layers. It just needs more time to develop this tree. Now I'll show you side on so you can see now how it looks in terms of the positioning of everything. It's pretty much a nice flowing tree. The branches are all around, but they've actually formed a nice, almost like an arrowhead the whole way through. So the apex is in here and everything fits in. Before, some branches were right out here, I had to push them all the way back in, and now it fits more of a better silhouette. So just to show you that quickly, I'll try and do a spin for you so you can see like the before and after. Oops, doesn't go all the way. Get it coming back this way. Just clips the curtains. And a pretty nice tree. So you can do all your pines at this time of year in Melbourne. It's autumn, so you get it all done and they're looking good. So I think this tree is maybe a couple of years away from being an exhibition. So we're really looking forward to it. It's really coming along well. And I'll just keep following the same process with this tree. Candle cut in summer, which is our December, and then needle pluck, bud select in autumn. So that's around May for me. And you get to keep building a nice tree. By resetting all the wiring, resetting all the branches, now have a much better structure. So it really is now final refinement stage of just candle cutting, bud selecting process. So there you go. There you go, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that video. Very simple, but very important technique. Spend a few hours on your pines. This one took me more than a few hours, but it's looking really good. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.